Hey there, my friends. There are two crucial things you need to know about this juicer before you spend your money on it. I'm gonna talk about those two things in just a second, but first, let's talk about the features, the accessories, and what it's like to actually use this. I'm also going to answer the most common questions on Amazon around nut milk, pre-cutting our veggies, and what it's like to actually clean it. There's a lot to get into, so let's do it. First, I wanna start with the components and how this thing is built. Now, this juicer is different than a lot of juicers I've used in the past because it has a hopper, meaning a large container on top that you can put all the ingredients into and just let it run. Other juicers that I've used, you have a tube right here and you're just shoving the fruit or the vegetables or whatever you're juicing down in, and you have to be involved the entire time. This is the thing that I love most about this juicer, is that I can dump all my vegetables in there and just let it go to work. Now, there is something specific about pre-cutting your vegetables because it is a hopper style instead of that tube style, but I'll talk about that in just a second. Let's go over the parts and pieces and how this thing breaks down. So like I mentioned, the first piece is the hopper piece to this puzzle. There is a little lock, unlock illustration right here. I'll show you closer, but all you have to do to lock it down is just put it in the unlock, twist it over to the lock, and you're ready to go. It also has a lid. This is a safety lid. So if the lid is up for any reason, the actual juicer will not run. Just understand that. And it is a spring-loaded lid, so it's not gonna slam shut on you, and it's easy to close and open. It has a nice little latch. Now in here, you will notice this is the auger, or this is the agitator rather, right here, and it spins around. What that does is it moves the contents of the fruit and vegetables around to get them to go down this hole right here. Now take a look at the size of this hole. That is what determines your chopping size. Whatever it is you're putting in here, it needs to be able to fit within this space, which is actually really nice because it's a little bit bigger than the other juicers that I've used that have a tube that you shove down. There's a nice handle on it that you can hold on to tightly, and that's really helpful. Next, you have your actual juicing components right here. So this is what I'm gonna call the auger. And basically it has a design in which it pushes the fruit down into the juicing basket. This fits right nicely into that, just like that, and it spins with the entire drivetrain. The other thing I love about this is the entire drivetrain, all the connecting pieces for the drivetrain are metal, and everything else is a really nice solid hard plastic. Now the juicing or straining cup right here, it has a fine strain right here, has a larger strain right here. That's gonna allow different viscosities of juice to come through depending on what it is that you're juicing, but it does filter them very well. Rarely do we have chunks, and there's a secondary filter for that I'm gonna show you in just a second. But again, that just sits right down in there. This is the bottom juice basket right here. This is where your auger and your strainer sit into, and this is what also separates your juice from your pulp. So juice is gonna come out of this nozzle right here. It has a nice stopper, just in case you need to stop. You can allow juice to build up inside of here, just in case you're switching cups or not ready to pour it out yet or whatever, but you need to pay attention to the level of the juice here and make sure that it flows in order to not overflow over the top of this. This is your pulp dispenser right here. So all your pulp, and I'm gonna demonstrate this in just a second. You're gonna see all of this fruit, these fruits and vegetables get juiced in real time so you can see how it works. But this is your pulp dispenser right here. And part of cleaning is being able to open that baby up, because this collects a lot of your secondary pulp. So that's a crucial part right there to be able to open that up, but it comes out really clean, really dry. One of the things I love about this is how much juice it's able to get out of the fruits and vegetables that I put it onto. It comes with 2 cups. One is a pulp catch that goes right there under your pulp spout. The second is your juice catch. Now, the nice thing about the juice catch and how you know it's your juice catch, one, you have measurements right here, so you can see how much juice is coming out. You have a pour spout right here. Also, your secondary strainer fits nicely right into the top of the juice cup. This is to catch any pulp that may have made through with the juice and not go into what you're actually going to drink. So that just goes under your juice drain right there. Now you'll know the difference because this secondary strainer does not fit into your pulp cup, just like that. Now, there are a couple other accessories. This is a sorbet strainer. So instead of having your juice strainer right here, you would plop this, you would pop the auger down into the sorbet strainer and put some frozen fruit into the juicer, and out comes frozen sorbet. And it comes out the pulp chute right here. So just kind of, it's pretty cool. It works pretty well. I'm not gonna pretend like it's perfect, but it's pretty good. We'll buy bags of frozen fruit at the grocery store, pop it in here, and it'll come out like a nice little frozen treat that's all mixed together, and it's pretty fun. So I'm gonna get all this put back together. You also have, this is in case you need to move the fruit around. So you're gonna see in just a second, all this fruit's gonna spin as it's going down the door. Sometimes you will need to use this guy right here just to shove down in there and move some of the fruit around and get it running through the hole nicely again. So that's important because obviously if you open this lid, the whole thing's gonna turn off. And if you stick your fingers down in there, that's just not good news. So this is nice to have. Now this thing is super nice. This is essential. This is a cleaning brush that is custom built for each nook and cranny of the juicer. So you have the large brush here, but then you also have a rotating small brush and pick. This is to get into some of the smaller areas to brush everything out. I will say, with any juicer, you're gonna be dealing with pulp, you're gonna be dealing with small bits of fruits and vegetables, and so cleaning is a thing. You're just not gonna escape it. However, this thing comes apart really nicely in a way that it mostly just rinses off by itself. The places that I do need to scrub are the juicer screen and the pulp dispenser right here. And mostly this bottom juice cup right here gets, as it collects that pulp, it gets the dirtiest. Now, there's a couple of things I want to show you about the base as well. The base has a nice weight to it. That's on a purpose, because this thing is really going to be cranking on some of that fruit and juice. By the way, nut butter, juice, milk, almond milk, all of that sort of stuff works like a dream in this juicer. It is no contest for it at all, and it gets a lot of juice out. This is your drivetrain that comes out of the base right here. Your cord is about 3.5 feet long, so you'll need to be close to an outlet. And this is your control right here. You have on, which is this position, and then you also have, this is off, just in the middle, and then you have reverse. The purpose of reverse, and by the way, it doesn't stay on reverse, you have to hold it down. As soon as you let up, it lets off. The purpose of reverse is if you ever get anything stuck in the auger, you're not gonna be able to get it out with your hands. All you have to do is just hit that reverse button and you're golden. It backs anything out of that auger, and then you can just get it out of there and then keep going on with your juicing experience. So I'm gonna get this whole thing put back together. We're gonna get some fruit and veggies loaded into it so you can see it actually work. Again, I'm gonna start with my juice base right here. I'm gonna put the auger inside of the strainer cup, and then I'm gonna push those down onto the drivetrain so that there's a connection there. Next, I'm gonna take my hopper or my fruit container, and then we're gonna lock that into place. I'm gonna open up the lid, and I'm just gonna start loading my vegetables and fruits into it. Now you can completely fill this entire hopper if you want to. Just making sure that everything is chopped finely enough to go through that hole. Doesn't need to be chopped neatly by any means, it just needs to be chopped. And you can see I had this whole cutting board full of fruits and apples, carrots, and celery, and my hopper still isn't even completely full. So I'm gonna close this up, and I'm gonna pull you closer so you can see this thing operate and do its magic. in real time. All right, so we've got everything loaded up. Let's hit the on button and see it do its magic. Now this thing really moves around quite a bit because it's creating all of that tension inside there with the auger and the straining, but you can see the juice starting to build up right here inside the juice container. You can also see the pulp starting to come out this end as well. Look how incredibly dry this pulp is. There's very little moisture left in it. That's what you want to see from a juicer that's doing a really good job. You can also see that it's already gone almost halfway through the fruits and vegetables here. I'm going to open up my juice spout so you can see it come through. Now at this point, everything is out of the hopper, and I'm just going to let everything, I'm going to give it a little bit of time to let everything run through the actual auger and strainer. So it's gonna take just one more minute or so in order to get all that fruit and vegetables through. Once this stops running, even just that little bit, I'm gonna let it go just a little bit longer. Once that starts to dry up, then we know we're done. All right, that's pretty much it. We're gonna turn it off now and just take a look at what we have. I wanna show you kind of the mess that's in this so you can get an understanding of what it's gonna be like to clean it. So right here, let's take a look at the hopper here. This is what's left in there. This honestly is just gonna be super easy just to rinse, and then I can throw it in the dishwasher and that's gonna clean it. It's completely dishwasher safe. Everything is stainless steel, everything is plastic that's dishwasher safe, so you don't have to worry about that. Give it a quick rinse to get the chunks off and then throw it in the dishwasher, and it's not a problem at all. Now take a look at the auger and the straining basket right here. So you have some chunks there. When I pull the auger out, it's gonna pull a bit of chunks out. And you can see, again, a rinse and a throw in the dishwasher, and that's not a problem at all. Then this is where you get most of the pulp buildup, is in the juice basket right here. So you can see all of that that's left in there. This I just take over to the garbage, kind of scoop it out. And then I obviously open this door up as well so we can get all of that pulp out, and it just falls out, and then we can rinse it. Same sort of thing, put it in the dishwasher, and it's super duper easy. Now I want to show you this. This is our secondary filter right here. There's still some juice in there because it caught so much of that secondary pulp. That's why I like to use this secondary filter, because it catches all of that stuff that would be otherwise in my juice. Sometimes I like a little bit of pulp in my juice, but sometimes I want it to be nice and clear and just strain right through. So my friends, I hope this video has been helpful in deciding whether or not this is the right juicer for you. We absolutely love it, use it all the time. If you decide to grab one for yourself, I hope you enjoyed as much as we do. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.